What's up, guys? So today I'm going to go over how to pin the Americana, submit from here, and then use that as a means of climbing up into your S mount and either taking the back or getting the arm. So from here, when I first started trying to go for the Americana, which would never work, I would have double overgrips. But those are not effective in pinning the arm. I found that out really quickly, so I gave up on the Americana. But more recently, I watched a video, I think it was Gordon Ryan, and he showed using an underhanded grip to pin the wrist. And I think obviously that's much more effective because you have a lot more leverage and you can really push it down. I've done it to people even that are much stronger than me and been able to successfully pin that arm. So this will not work, but you go under and now you push down, you have a lot more leverage. Now, if you want to have any chance of finishing this Americana, you got to drop right away. So as soon as I pin this arm, right, I'm dropping, I'm bringing this hand over the top here, and I'm straightening this hip and falling on the, straightening this leg, and falling on this hip, okay? The purpose of this is to make it difficult for Chelsea to turn in and defend against this arm. If I stay here, she's going to turn in and defend against that arm very quickly. So I must straighten this leg, make sure I fall on my hip. Now, much more difficult for her to turn in. My other hand goes underneath, right, and I get here, right? You can either do grips like this and just shrug it back, or you can do actual wrist curls like this, okay? And then you drive it back. Now, Chelsea's shoulders are a little tight, but you don't just lift it up here, okay? I can maybe finish her there, right? She has got tight shoulders, but if I bring this all the way back to the ribs first, right, I can lock that shoulder out in a much tighter position first. And if you've got someone who's hyper flexible and you bring that elbow all the way back and they still haven't tapped, right, then that's when you would elevate, right? And again, Chelsea's shoulders are really tight, so I'm being nice and gentle with my grips. Imagine how strong it would be if I had this locked, right? So I don't lift up here, right? I drag this back to the rib cage first, and then I would elevate. Now, if they turn and defend, which is going to happen, even if you try to go as fast as you can and drop your weight, there's a good chance Chelsea's going to be able to turn and defend. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to switch my hands. This hand is going to go to the top of the wrist, and I'm going to move my chest behind her shoulder here and drive in, okay? Now, I've got this hand posted here. If Chelsea tries to turn into me, it's pretty difficult. I've got a pretty good controlled position here. Now, this arm is going to go under the head, and you can do one of two things. You can either grab here on this wrist, or you can pull this in and get your gift wrap. If you get your gift wrap, then you slide that knee up to the head, step the other foot in, and now don't fall backwards, fall to the side. And you pull, and you take back control, right? You land right here on the underhook side. Make sure you get your body triangle if you can. If you don't want to go to the back and you just want to armbar her, once I pin this arm and she turns, I go chest behind the shoulder again. I'm going to come here. I'm going to go underneath the elbow, okay? Now, slide the knee up, lift, get your foot underneath, okay? So I'm on the side of my foot. I am not posted on my foot. I'm on the side of my foot so that I can get it under her shoulder. Now, I make sure this other knee is behind the shoulder and tucked in underneath the head. Am I heavy here? Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So I'm going to scoop the arm, lean forward, push on the mat, scrape, lean forward and to the side. And then I scrape the leg over, sit back, and then I go for my armbar finish. Remember, guys, cardinal sin of armbars for mount is sitting back first and then throwing over the leg. That's the easiest way to get stacked and get escaped on from when you're trying to go for the armbar. Make sure you always scrape the leg over first and then you sit back. So there you have it, guys. Just some additional options that you can use from the mount, using that underhanded grip to punch for the Americana. And then if they turn to defend it, you get your chest behind the shoulder, climb up either into a gift wrap back take S mount or an armbar S mount and finish either one of those options. Now, if you're in a fight, there's no reason to dismount, either for an armbar or the back take, right? You're in a great position. You have good visibility. You have a great ability to run away immediately if another threat approaches you. And you've got dominant positional control. Why would you risk that control for a submission if you're in a real-life situation? Stay there, pin them, strike them, but you don't have to sacrifice or risk your dominant control. So remember, the incentives in self-defense and the incentives in sport jiu-jitsu are different. Make sure you know which one you're doing, okay? Make sure you know what you're doing. Practice the self-defense as well. Sometimes it's important. So just keep that difference in mind, guys. You know, we do a lot of sport jiu-jitsu when we train, but it's important to talk about the self-defense incentives too, because they are different. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you share the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time.